Hello everyone and welcome back to the glorious plague through of Dark Souls and whatnot. Alright, I decided to come back here. As you remember last time, it went an hour and 30 minutes long. Probably not going to happen again today. But I did skedaddle is the right word, right out of this place as quickly as possible so that I could end the episode. And show you the Blighttown entrance and whatnot. But I wanted to come back and show you briefly. You will notice that, of course, this is, as I mentioned before, some sort of weird aqueduct system in which the water drains down and is evacuated by means of various whatnots at various layers, blah, 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 blah. And I wanted to specifically show you, this is the thing that the Gaping Dragon crawled out of, and you will notice it's not broken off. It is, in fact, just sort of warped. It doesn't quite look melted, but it's obviously not supposed to be this way. Is that a rendering issue down there? Yeah, it kind of looks like I'm seeing something I'm not supposed to be seeing over there to the side. Anyways, that's where it was supposed to end, and even over there, it seems to be warped. So, this either was warped by some sort of magical means, or it was possibly heated, and it melted away, which doesn't really seem to make much sense. To me, it visually just looks warped. The real reason for this is that the game developers had this model shaped this way, and they probably just overlapped the texture and didn't really think too much about it. But I guess the secondary thing would be maybe the Gaping Dragon calls this, or something. Who knows? Maybe somehow whenever the Witch of Izalith fucked up, it also melted this. Who the hell knows, you know, it's just one of those things. I thought you might find it interesting. Maybe it does mean something, maybe it doesn't. But either way, it doesn't look like the Gaping Dragon melted its way in there, but it has been there for quite some time. And of course, this is sort of one of the little drainage pitch. This is this is just how the whole area works. This is the drainage point. It is interesting that the sconce here is still lit, which means that it was at this level at the time at which this place was still being maintained. So, this place didn't used to be completely filled with water. It's always pretty much been at this level, more or less, at least up to the sconce level. And how the hell these things have stayed lit for so long, don't ask me to explain it. Just take it for what it is, you know? Gameplay. And of course, the place is eaten up from all sorts of years of erosion and all that. The whole thing is collapsed in on itself. I think that you can actually see this place from the outside from some point, but I might be remembering the 3D model viewer that I was using a few months ago, which I might show you that at some point. And yes, I did remember this. I thought about it whenever I was going back up, and like I said, didn't have time. This is one of the starter classes that we didn't pick. Hard leather, blah, blah, blah. Does it have anything unique? It probably does. Let's see what it is. Armor made of thick leather. Very common type of protective gear. It provides a sound level of defense. This was really worth all of our time, wasn't it? Let's get the hell out of here. Okay, but I do have a few show notes. Come here, Frito. Actually, I threw away that Frito bag. I now have this thing. This is my penis. No, this is actually a notepad. Let's see. What do I have written down here? Let's see. Occult damage. Yes. People were saying, in response to me criticizing the upgrade system... What am I doing? Go upstairs. I said that Divine is the only one that does anything. I'm pretty sure that I'm fucking this up. Yeah. Did I ever... Okay, yeah, I did. I was actually thinking about that crossbow. But that's on the second level, and I'm pretty sure that I picked it up. Anyways, man, I'm getting really confused. Because these two levels look exactly the same, and I tend to do that whenever I go back up. I already killed everything beforehand, so I didn't have to worry about this shit. Except for you naughty slime. By the way, we'll see sort of more of these things, in a way, whenever we get to New Londo. You may know what I'm talking about, but there's big black versions of these things, sort of. But those are obviously a bit more magical. They have like skulls and shit all over them. So whether they are related or not, I don't know. But these do seem to be sentient piles of muck. Again, it's not really clear what exactly these things are. But, once again, maybe it's just magical Anno Londo poop. Who can say? But there is some sort of warped bullshit going on down here that I'm really... for the life of me, I sat down and tried to figure it out so I could have some commentary on it today. I couldn't figure it out. I decided, you know what? They're just piles of muck because, hey, this is the sewer and they wanted sewer enemies. And that was the end of it as far as my line of reasoning went. If you have an idea, feel free to post it in the comments, and I may read it if I'm feeling gracious. Ha ha ha! But anyways, occult damage. I was criticizing the upgrade system and said that Divine is the only one that did anything because it causes skeletons to not reassemble. And people brought up occult damage, because occult damage causes extra damage to gods. Now, I will point out that in my criticism of the upgrade system, I was very critical of it because I said that none of them do anything except for cause additional damage in various ways. So, whenever you come back to me and say, in response, well, occult does something, Plague, and I ask, what is that? What does occult do differently? And you say, it adds more damage. What do you think my response to that is? My response is occult damage does extra damage to gods, so you're agreeing with me. It also does nothing. Just the fact that it causes more damage... Something struck me funny just walking up here and just piles of corpses everywhere. Okay, sorry. My demented sense of humor. But yeah, occult damage doesn't do anything to impress me. Just the fact that it does extra damage versus gods, that's cute, but again, it does nothing. Only Divine does anything. Okay. Another thing, this is kind of funny to me because I made a mistake in talking about Crystal Upgrade Pass 2 times in a row in 2 different parts. The first time was obvious. I spent 15 minutes correcting myself in a cute little way. This time I said that crystal damage does not scale, which I immediately after I released the video, I realized my mistake in that. But of course, crystal damage does scale, but I don't care. You know, it's crystal. Who the fuck uses crystal? Except for people that are twinking, basically.
You left me high and dry for a while there. I thought maybe you'd forgotten about me. Are you back for more of my moss then? Plenty of it here, freshly peeled, just for you.
She wants me to use her moss. I think you actually eat the moss too whenever you use it. So she wants to offer me her moss, and you know, I'm not even gonna go down this road. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Pubic hair.
Much obliged. I think I like you.
Okay. But yeah, I don't give a shit about crystal damage. Like I said, whenever I think in part 1 even, I said that the things that I consider myself to be good at in regards to this game in my commentary are not going to be technical things like, you know, what has the proper scaling and whatnot. I really don't remember shit like that. It's going to be things like characterization. Oh, for fuck's sake. I hate it whenever the rats don't... Okay. These fucking rats really piss me off. Because sometimes they turn around and sometimes they don't. And of course, it only takes like 2 hits to get poisoned by the little goddamn things. One of the reasons why it's so easy to get poisoned is because resistance was supposed to be the stat that you use to control that. But of course, resistance is completely worthless. Hey. Whoa, that was weird. Had some sort of weird frame delay in that. Oh well. So long, Big Bowser. Or Scar, or some insert joke here. Anyways, yes, I don't give a shit about Crystal, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what else do I have on my little thing? Rats and dogs drop humanity. I wanted to point this out. I think I did mention this, actually. But I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on this. Someone in the comments actually suggested maybe the reason why that they were corrupted looking is because they've been eating humanity. And to that, I wanted to point out that humanity is usually used by various things to heal themselves. And again, humanity is linked with the physical. Whenever people use them, it heals them. And even in this game, whenever a human being uses... That poison's still going, isn't it? It doesn't matter, though. I mean, right out here at a bonfire. But whenever you use humanity... no, I'm not going to use it. But whenever you use humanity as an item, it heals you all the way back to full, which was actually a huge error on their part. Because it ended up breaking a lot of PvP. It broke PvP because it could heal through Lord's Talismans, for one. Like, Lord's Talismans, you can throw them at people and it keeps Estus from triggering. There's a big plot thing about that, but we'll get more about that later. And it could heal in situations in which healing was supposed to be impossible for certain kinds of phantoms. And yes, we'll learn more about All-Father Lloyd and his link with Havel, the Way of the White, and Thurland, and Mimics, and so on, much later on. But I wanted to point out that the rats and... No, dogs don't drop humanity, only rats. Rats, white rats, baby skeletons, the abyss phantoms, of course, and pasakas. The things at the archives. Only they do. But anyways, the rats are eating human souls, not god souls. Some people may say we're fighting gods, but we're not. All of these are humans in the Burgs, and that implies that there is an open relationship between humans and gods.
Oh, hello. Terrific to see us,
To see us both in one
and
piece.
pray that
You never go hollow. Okay, so I still have to get my intelligence up to 10 just to be able to get his stupid shitty items that I'm not going to use. I think, let's go ahead and heal. I know that you're probably watching that health bar and just like, oh, is he gonna miss it? Is he gonna miss it? Nah, I'm not gonna miss it. Okay.
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Well, don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide.
Okay, is there really anything that... I think I've kind of gone over everything that I've gone to go into with him. He doesn't really have much of a backstory or any sort of character depth. He's just a carryover from Demon Souls, basically. He's just sort of an in-joke. And of course, he's present in Dark Souls 2 as well, in a different form. But of course, just to briefly mention about his characterization, he doesn't really seem to grasp why you're even bothering with anything. Was it? No, that's not going to happen just yet. Okay.
What's wrong?
And I think that's
Get a
it
bit of a
with him.
scare out there. No problem. Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it.
Ha 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 ha. Every character always laughs after they say anything. I don't know why. He's probably something Frog Nation said is, just in-cap it. Maybe that's why. I have no idea. But yeah, he just sits there. That's just his character. He's given up on everything. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to try to achieve anything. And this is sort of the closest that we're going to get to in this game anyways. This is one of the few things that Dark Souls 2 actually did better than Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 actually, especially with someone like Lucatil, shows the steady decline from being human and still having your sapience into just being a mindless hollow. With him, he's sort of the closest that we're going to get, aside from maybe Solaire, to seeing someone on the breaking point. He's obviously given up on life, but he's not hollow just yet. All it's going to really take for him is one good push. Just kill him once. Just destroy his body once, and he'll revive it, say this bonfire, and that'll be the end of him. He'll probably go hollow. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Oh, might as well go down and talk to... May as well talk to Lawtrick while we're done. By the way, his full name is Lawtrick of Karim. Or title, anyways.
Oh, hello. I'm considering a change of location. I have a rather pressing matter to attend to up above. That keeper has served me well, but enough with her.
A lot of conspiratory dialogue going on here. He has business up above. It's never, ever, ever clarified what exactly his business is, but we'll see more later what he has in store for that keeper that he was referring to. In other words, one that's been servicing him this entire time. So apparently whatever he came here to do, he's done with. And again, this is not Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 1 characters will come and go as they please. I actually had to restart the game several times whenever I was doing the last recording session because he wasn't here. I had to just keep restarting it until he showed back up whenever he came back. Then I was able to continue recording. But everyone has their own sort of objectives they want to meet, and he has met his, whatever that was, which we will never learn, and he is going to take off.
Oh, hello. I'm considering
Change
I
the
have
look.
a rather...
Press her.
That keeper has...
It's a pressing matter, whatever it is. So apparently he's on some sort of schedule. And oddly, by the way, I will point out, he is not from our universe, or our world. You know how Solaire is from sort of a different dimension? You talked about the worlds intersecting and whatnot, which is sort of a gameplay device that's kind of just briefly mentioned to explain away multiplayer conventions, and then is never really brought up again. But he also is from a different dimension. He is essentially another chosen undead, like ourself, except he's from another plane of existence, or whatever the convolution happens to be. So, he has no business being here. And if he starts fucking with our Firekeeper, then we're going to have problems, aren't we? Aren't we, buddy? Yeah, we are. I could kill him right now, and many people do, but I do want to pick up his armor later on. So we're not going to bother him just yet. And he will, let's see. He leaves whenever you have whenever you have either rung both bells, or whenever you have rung one bell and taken the Firekeeper soul in Blighttown, I think. And I don't think you have anything extra to say.
There. I'm pleased to see you safe, as always. If you provide the materials, I can teach you pyromancy.
I will eventually have to level this up, because leveling up this, the Pyromancer Flame, leveling up this will enable us to have a little extra plot going on whenever we reach Blighttown, so I'll eventually have to upgrade this. There are 2 conditions that you can buy. People have always wondered this, how you get Qualata, you know, to show up in Blighttown. You have to show up with a +10, I think it is, Pyromancy Flame, might be wrong on that. Or just someone has to be there with a +10. So if someone invades you and they also have a +10, but you have never upgraded your Pyromancy Flame, then that's also good. Which is why there's sort of conflicting reports over what is a necessity and what isn't. Something else I also have written in my notes. Pyromancers are hated for their atypical looks. I was talking earlier about how people don't seem to like him. And remember in the character select screen back in part 1, there was a great swap option for our races or whatever, our heritage. And the description of that was that people from the Great Swamp are hated for their atypical looks. Now, whether that actually means their facial features or their garb, I don't know. But he obviously is a very handsome man, very sexy man. Get off of that poison, for fuck's sake. But I would like to think that it just means their clothing. Where am I? Oh. Sorry, I'm just briefly amusing myself. But it could also mean their looks, who knows. Okay, what else is on my... Before I go down on my little things here. One other thing someone mentioned. Miracles are... Someone was trying to correct me with the concept of how miracles work. I said something along the lines of, miracles work by uttering something to the gods, and the gods will grant you some of their power. I'm sort of right and sort of wrong, and the person making the comment is also sort of right and sort of wrong. Miracles are uttered as prayers. That is clear. But they are physically scriptures, like the actual things that we can buy from Haircut here.
Catacombs. My lady,
Slip
her
up
two
to
companions.
Harmony in the Weeks and Solito. Haha, yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna belabor you on that. But these, the actual things here, actually, is here. Yes, here it is. Okay, that's what I wanted exactly. These are physically scriptures. They're just, what they are is, they are just pieces of parchment that have a scripture written on them. If you look at the icons, you can actually see it, aside from Homeward. Homeward apparently was a scripture written by a 3-year-old or something, and was mounted on someone's refrigerator. But the rest of them are just words. And the whole idea is, actually I'll just go into the description here. Elemental miracle, cast by clerics, restores health points. To cast a miracle, the caster learns a tale of the gods, like what is written here, and says a prayer to be blessed by its revelations. Heal is the shortest of such miraculous tales. So, you learn what is written on the paper. You hold it. You know, you attune it, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Gameplay device, I guess. And then you say a prayer. In other words, you are uttering a prayer to the god that it is associated with, or gods, to be blessed by its revelations. So you are sort of doing both. You are talking to the god. Whether you are actually talking to them or not, I don't know. Whether they are actually responding, I don't know. Of course, in 2, it becomes even more of a clusterfuck because they're all well past dead by then, most certainly. But in terms of this one, a lot of the gods are still alive. They just left Anor Londo, and that's it.
Come again. The effectiveness of the
It could just be that they are, that you're pulling power out of the ether or something, or you're drawing power away from them without their consent, but I kind of doubt it. So how miracles actually work is not especially clear, but there is prayer involved, and you are reading off scripture. So that's how that works. There's one more thing I wanted to... Twin Humanities always drop from the Bell Gargoyles and from the Gaping Dragon. So that was not associated with Lordran. So, fuck him. He didn't give us jack squat. You always get twin humanities. I had to go look that up, and I think I actually asked German Spy about it. As you might be able to tell, we're going to the Asylum today. And as I pass over here, I have one last thing on my notepad. On this one, anyways. I have another one opened on PC. That, yes, these are all Petrus's items. It's implied that this is all Petrus's shit. He did have some red-eye orbs down here. Now, me, I just kind of chalk this up to the developers want you to have access to a few of them whenever you first start the game. Make sure, yeah, I figured I would miss that. You do have to, I wanted to show, you do have to jump to be able to reach that. You can't just roll. Anyways. But those are Petrus's things. I don't think that's implying anything too devious, other than, you know, they've been really, by the way. Oh, hello there. You can hear the snoring. Whenever I first played this game, which was a long time ago, I actually played it whenever it first came out on PC. Whenever I had that option. And, oh, for fuck's sake, just hurry up and die, you little bitch. Goddamn skeletons. Explode, yes. Why do they explode? Oh, well. But I first started playing it whenever it first came out, sort of, and then I didn't pick it up again for quite some time. I think I actually pirated it briefly or something like that. Because I thought, well, I'll see what the fuck this is before I do anything with it. But then I also saw that it was heavily bugged as a port, so I decided not to bother or something like that. And I think I got up to the point where I rang the first bell and then I quit, you know, after like 1 hour. And that confused the shit out of me, that snoring. And I looked it up and I couldn't find any information on it. But anyways, that's the snoring. But as far as Petrus goes and the red-eye orbs, I don't think it's implying that he is a servant of Cath. I don't think it's implying that he is a dark wraith of any kind, really. Just more to the point that, oh, Petrus is a bad person, which they have been beating us over the head with. There is no subtlety whatsoever in regards to Petrus being a good or a bad person. They really want to insinuate. No subtlety at all, which is pretty funny in this game. But yeah, I think it's just a gameplay convention. But I did want to point it out, in case you want to come to your own conclusions about that if you want. So whether he is lusting after humanity or not, I don't really know. There's not much room to get a running start on this. You can always just do this, go up to it, and then backstep. The way you... Whoops. But you can end up just fucking yourself over like I just did. Will you stop that? Maybe I'll just hold it down. Okay, there it goes. That was really weird. Oh, that was even stranger. And you will get stuck on this. If you do, you can't really... I think you can run... No, you can't run over it. So just roll. Although this is very dangerous as well. Because of that. Fuck's sake. One of the things that these games have never been really good at. Platforming. But for some reason... FromSoft has a hard-on for trying to make you platform in these games. At very inopportune moments, too. They have really no business whatsoever trying to do it, for how bad the physics is. But they just keep doing it. Some advice to any video game makers of any kind. If you have some bad element with your game engine, or your gameplay, don't draw attention to it. And that's the problem with this one. You know, platforming has always been atrocious. Demon Souls is the worst by far. I haven't played Demons, of course, as I have mentioned before. But, it notoriously has absolutely abysmal, platforming. Let's see if I can do this again. Okay. Don't think I'm ever going to get to the Asylum. You know... This game reminds me sometimes of like a big bodybuilder that walks around telling everyone he has a micro penis. Like, don't tell us about it. Hey, everyone, come look at how weird this is. Oh, for God's sake, put it away. Or are you even... I mean, we can't really see it, but still, put it away. And just like that, FromSoft loves to show off its jumping. Like, jump across this. Try to walk across this tiny little beam. Why are you making us do this? It's obviously not something that this engine is very good at, but they keep showing us it. Anyways, I just want... There's Velka's crow, or raven, whatever. I've stolen it. That has brought us here. Now I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a foul mood now. But this is what we need. We need this. Undead Asylum F2, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I guess it's supposed to be the floor number 2, West Key. I guess it is floor 2, because it is... actually, it's like the 3rd floor. Oh, well. Anyways. Let's look at this. Key to the iron bars on the west side of the 2nd floor of the North Undead Asylum. There's a couple of ways that you can interpret this. One is that we woke up in the south section of the asylum and went into the north to escape. The other is that there are multiple asylums, undead asylums, around the world, and we are in the north one. I really like that second implication that there's more of them. Anyways, the Undead Asylum is a giant undead prison segmented by countless iron bars, but even if a hero found a key in Lordran to liberate this prison, would he have the means or the heart to ever come back? This is either talking about you or it's talking about the corpse that you found it on, which implies that this corpse may have also been from the Undead Asylum. The Asylum's keys were found in Lordran, so either they were brought by a hollow here and lost, or the gods, or the Way of the White, or so on, were the ones responsible for imprisoning you in the first place. Now, very carefully... God's sake! Because after this fucking shit, I'm gonna have to belong in a fucking asylum. I just went ahead and leveled up. I got myself an attunement slot and Velka's Crow and Key. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. And there's nothing up here. See? Not a fucking thing. There's a piece of a tree branch thing. By the way, there's some gigantic fucking trees around here. All across Lordran. The implication, I guess, seems to be that they are growing up from the arch trees below. Which, of course, that over there is an arch tree that's growing up through Blighttown. So I guess that is the implication that there is some still residual life from that sort of lower elevation. I don't know. I need to just sit down for a while. Eggs, please. Please, eggs. By the way, it is sort of unusual that this sort of mythological or whatever, this fantasy crow raven thing does actually rear young, so this is a biological life form. Even though it's impossible for such a thing to actually exist as it does. But you do have to kneel down in this thing for a set amount of time, and then it thinks that you're an egg or something. I guess that's the implication. And off we go! It'd be funny if it just dropped you right there. Hey, fancy meeting you up here. But off we go, back to the asylum for some reason. So, there's a couple of things to be implied from this. Ooh, how do we teleport? But, by the way, you can't just run up and teleport back. You actually have to physically come over here and sit down again. So if you're planning on, like, doing it from the very start of the game, whenever you could just run and jump into the cutscene, can't do that. You'll fly off the cliff and die. Not that I would ever do such a thing, of course, no. But I don't remember this nest being here whenever we left. So I guess this raven picked you up the first time and just loved the idea of carrying things off so much that she just spends her whole day just going back and forth between the Undead Asylum and Lordran, carrying her eggs back and forth for no goddamn reason. Or they were just trying to think of some way to carry you back, and they just decided that pretending to be egg would be cute. And that was as far as they took that line of logic. But like we were talking about with the key, who would have the means or the heart to come back to the shitty place? Because if they've been in prison here, why would they come back just to rescue these guys? These Torch Hollows, as they are now. Which assume, I'm guessing, that these are the other people that Oscar let out of their cells. And that we, the Chosen Undead, are the only star on his report card so far. Think about this. He came here from Astora to rescue the Hollows because he believed in this prophecy that had been passed down through his family for ages. And apparently 100% of them were drooling, just idiotic Hollows, up until he got power-bombed through a roof. Even though he last spoke to us, I'm sure by that point he just completely lost all of his motivation. And these guys are super annoying. Because if you're trying to do the thing right here, we'll find out of it in a second. From this bonfire, these guys will just launch themselves across the room and attack you in the back whenever you enter through this doorway. Pretty fucking annoying. But let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's go ahead. I was trying to think of which ones to do first. But I am all out of sorts now that I had to spend like the... It took me like 7 tries to get up on that damn thing. Which is weird because normally it doesn't take me any really problem at all. Anyways, before I even get into this, I wanted to raise the question first of why Velka would have rescued you specifically, the Chosen Undead, or any other hollow half-witted enough to stumble onto that cliff without falling off of it. It's not clear whether she rescued more than you. Velka may have been the one who told Oscar's family that prophecy of his eons ago. It's possible. She's described as being a rogue deity, after all. So obviously she does things the other gods don't approve of. It could be judging sin, it could be the human sacrifices Kareem is always up to make the rings Oswald was selling, for example. Or it could have something to do with Priscilla, which I'll get into later. Either way, the most straightforward answer might be that she wants the flame rekindled to restore the Age of Fire, like every other person. A related one may be that she considers hollowing to be an affront to her job. How can you judge something that doesn't have any accountability? Restoring the flame would get rid of that curse for a while. But there is also a third option, related to Priscilla, which I will talk about later. But what would the Goddess of Sin want with us? Hey, Oscar. Hey, friend. He is not too happy to see us. And funny thing is, he's hollow now, but he is a huge badass now. Like, he is probably the biggest challenge that we're going to have. Ooh, see? He even kicks. Man, I can't really parry him particularly well. And it seems like whenever he two-hands, he can actually get through this bandit shield a little bit. Which seems to be, I think it's because his sword might have some magical properties. And I think that's the reason why it's doing split damage through my own shield. But I shouldn't have too much of an issue with him. What if I can kick him? Let's try that for a second. Ooh, he kicked me. What a cutie. Oh, I can, okay. I just wanted to see if I could actually break his... I better stop fucking around with him or else I'm going to die. I didn't want to use my 10 essence flasks. This is the reason why I was avoiding healing. But down he goes. And for some reason, he never reappears, despite being hollow. Of course, he dies, one way or another. By the way, whenever you first talk to him, if you say that you don't want to hear his little story, that's pretty much it. The only way to get the items from him that you need to be able to escape the asylum is you have to kill him. And from that point on, either way, he's going to die. So whenever he reappears, he, of course, is hollow. He doesn't recognize you. He just attacks you for seemingly no reason. Assumedly because he wants the power that you have within you. The same as all hollows. And he drops the crest shield. I think that's the only thing he actually drops. He actually uses an Astora straight sword, which you saw him using just then. And, crest shield. This is actually a very good shield. And, the one he uses is actually +8. Which is unusual because the Astora straight, the Astora straight sword, which I think we actually still have, but it's not with me, actually only goes up to +5 as a Twinkling Knight, upgrade thing. Okay. Shield of a Nameless Knight, likely a high-ranked Knight of Astora. One of the enchanted blue shields. The crest shield greatly reduces magic damage. Excuse me. Now, a couple things I guess to point out. It refers to blue shields. Blue shields tend to be... Blue seems to be associated usually with magic, or things that are resistant to magic, or so on. And of course, he is not named anywhere in the game. Oscar, even though he's widely known as being named Oscar, particularly because of game files and lost audio clips that are no longer used because, as I said in part 1, that content was cut. He's never actually named in the game, and I think he might be named in the... oh, for God's sake. He's named in the credits as well. So that's how we know that he's named Oscar. But for the sake of this game, everything about him being named Oscar is removed, and he's just referred to as being a nameless knight. Which I guess they did because they thought that it would have more of a... I forgot! It reappears! I completely forgot about that. It actually surprised me. But I guess they thought it would have more impact that way, if he was just completely nameless. Didn't quite get that. Oh well. Anyways, one last thing about Oscar. Oscar is from Astora, just like Solaire, just like Anastasia, the Firekeeper at Firelink Shrine. She is also from Astora. And Andre is also from Astora. The guy that I said was originally going to be the firstborn Soren of Gwyn, but is now just a generic blacksmith in the Undead Burg. He is also from Astora, and probably Rickard is also from Astora, because he wears the Elite Knight set. Oh, for fuck's sake. Did you actually fire that quick in succession? You little cheater. You little cheater. That is not nice of you at all. But Rickard is we will meet him much later on in Sen's Fortress. But he is also from Astora, most likely. And I'll point out these guys are the only hollow soldiers that are anywhere inside of the Asylum. Now, why do you think that is? They seem to be guarding this door, and originally there was only one of them, which is kind of unusual. Which I think is just a gameplay thing. They probably just put another one there, because it's like, well, we'll give them one to start out with to get them expecting them, and then later on we'll put two there for the added challenge, because they'll probably only be expecting one. I guess that's the implication. But they're guarding this door, and this door leads out onto a short little walkway that drops down into a stairwell that it has crumbled away. So why the hell were they guarding this? It's just a stairwell. They were guarding the rusted iron ring. Now, I'm sure that they weren't actually guarding just a ring, and that was it. This is a really good ring, right? I should have been having this on. Oh well. Rusted iron ring. This iron ring was used to shackle the guilty. It is terribly rusted and faintly stained with blood. Those who find this strange ring to their liking will be pleased to find it easier to gain footing on poor ground such as swamps. Okay, this is going to be a mouthful. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to read into this more than I've read into anything so far. First, I will point out that this is an asylum for the undead. Like I pointed out in part 1, there's gravestones outside. So it apparently used to be a normal asylum. You wouldn't bury the undead with headstones. I could see someone trying to, bury them to keep them from coming back, but probably not also honoring their memories at the same time with a headstone. Especially not whenever we see how they've been treated up until now. And we were in a dirty old filthy cell. But even back then, you wouldn't really imprison anyone here for being guilty of anything, other than just being a hollow, which isn't really a crime exactly. Secondly, I will point out that this is not a cell. It's just some crumbled stairs. You can't lock anyone up here. They could just step off and run away. The easiest explanation is that they had this area modeled, and that was just the easiest place to put the damn ring. Or the shackle, as it seems to be. If it was intentional, though, you can assume so many things. It could have been a lazy hollow, it could have been a chained up one. It's possible this was a nun-undead that was framed and sent to the asylum, maybe a political enemy or something. This is a corpse, after all. Then again, we find a lot of undead corpses, which makes no sense. So, maybe the prisoner made his own shackle magical before he died, maybe they were guarding a valuable artifact, or maybe, this seems the most likely to me, they could imprison someone on a staircase because it is an artifact that burdens only the guilty, and works the opposite for those without any guilt, which would be you. Either way, this is either incredibly lazy map design, or it's one of the most interesting stories in the game that we just don't know anything about. Anyways, I think I will clear out this one first. I'm pretty sure that this is the one I'm thinking of. Yes, to this one, okay. Because I want to clear him out ahead of time. You can't really get this guy's attention too well without... Damn it, I knew he'd do that. Little bastard. Maybe he'll... Yeah, I figured he'd poke me in the back. You little fucking cunt. What a little cheater. He's positioned in such a way that it is really impossible for you to, Alright, come on, get it out of your system. It's impossible for you to go around that corner without him poking you in the back. Which is the problem that he seems to have right fucking now. Little bitch. I'm gonna poke you in the butt when... Oh, come on, iframes on his get up? Really? Fucking wake up technology. Come over here, bitch. Maybe I can parry him. I'm not really... I'm out of sorts now, so I probably can't parry this particularly well. Or maybe I can. Right in the groinal area. Take that, bitch. Like that shit. You're the one that belongs in Asylum now. Red Titanite chunk. These are... do I really have to show this? Yes, you gotta show this. Red Titanite chunk, Titanite chunk for reinforcement and powerful fire energy. With the discovery chunks of Lordran, I raced to begin the could they bear mere myth? On the description of the thing that I'm holding in my hand, could this be a myth? Actually, it's referring to slabs, so I guess that's fair. But anyways, yeah, this a chunk for the fucking fire shit. Anyways, I was hoping I would get one of his weapon drops and have that be more interesting. But anyways, I just wanted to get him cleared, of course, just to have that done. And, actually, I go this way first. And I haven't sat down. Yeah, I have sat down since then. So they are here. This one will probably, ever so often, he'll spring out and catch you in the back as you're killing his friend over here. But I'm going over to use this bonfire, which is what I'm doing. But I wanted to point out that the Black Knights are here. And of course, obviously, the Black Knights were not here before. So why exactly are they here? We know, I think... What the hell? Oh. I was thinking for a second, am I being invaded? But this goes away if there's an enemy nearby, or if you're being invaded. And it's impossible to invade at the Asylum, so that's why I was confused. Anyways. But anyway, yeah, I don't think we've really learned anything much about the Black Knights up until now. But I'll just go ahead and tell you, of course, they're servants of Gwen. As I've explained before, that they are... I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these guys just for the hell of it. But they are black because they were charred fighting the Witches of Asylum. And the ones in the kiln are, of course, just suits of armor with souls inside of them because they were incinerated on the inside by the flames of the kiln whenever it was reignited by Gwen. But they are here for some reason. And we might find out a little bit more about why they are here in a bit. But for now, I guess I will go ahead and strip out some armor. It's actually better. This guy below us is going to kill us in like one hit anyway, so it's actually better to be sexy in the meantime. There's a lot of hair on my chest. Actually, it looks just like me in real life. Let's get going. I'll go ahead and tell you the easiest way to avoid being hammered first off is to fall down, then run over into this corner. And he shouldn't have seen us. Yeah, there he goes. And he shouldn't have seen us. If you use something like fall control or I can't even remember if there is a cat ring in this game. I don't think there is a cat ring in this game. I'm getting my memories confused now because of the two games. Then you will take less damage and this won't be much of a concern. But this is the Stray Demon. Why it is referred to as the Stray Demon, who can really say? Now you remember the first one that we fought, it looks just like this. This is basically just an excuse to reuse content, by the way. But the first one that we faced was just called the Asylum. So whether this is implying that there's actually some sort of a job being done by these guys here, I'm not really certain. But this guy is obviously way more of a threat than his brother was. And it's primarily because he has this AoE attack. And that's pretty much it. That's all he's really got going for him. But it can be so difficult to avoid that he is a pretty big threat. I mean, it's for experienced players, they can make him look trivial, I guess. But he is actually a really big deal. This move particularly... Oh, shit. Am I kidding me? But that move particularly is actually very dangerous. And you want to try to get him away from these goddamn walls. Because of that. God damn it. I figured he'd get me. But ever so often, he will get me. But the thing you want to avoid with him is just that one little thing. That's his only trick that he has. He's otherwise just a joke. He's just a big fat joke. But he can get you ever so often. Because it is kind of tricky in some ways. Fortunately, there is no sort of half-health sort of system in this game in regards to hollowing. Otherwise, you would probably die from this drop, which means that you would probably have to become human for this fight over and over again. It's actually been quite a long time since I've... Ah, damn it. This is the reason why I killed them. Because they don't seem to die in the fall, oddly enough. Damn it. Come on, get out of here. Little rascals. That's the reason why I killed them. But it's been quite some time since I've actually died in this fight. Probably because I'm talking. But usually you can get him into a repeating pattern where he just flies up in the air over and over again. But again, that's his only trick that he has going for him. Step you in your cute little booty. Cute little booty hole. I'm also sort of out of sorts because earlier there's a cold front moving in and we had to, well, I had to go outside and install a heat lamp for the chickens. This commentary is getting weird. As I stab this guy in his giant scrotum. His butt does look sort of scrotal if you look at it just the right way. There is another one of these guys later on. Actually, I'm probably really under-leveled for this, to be honest. Because it's going to take quite a while for me to actually get all of his health down. I might end up just sort of cutting a lot of this footage, or if I die to this guy a second time, I'll just cut ahead, because this is a bit much. Because I'm only taking off about 140 or so, 180, I think it was. And he does this stupid AoE attack so much that you end up having to clear space for him constantly. Because baby has to be treated with respect because of his stupid little AoE attack. What a fucking chump. So fat, too. Of course, I will mention that all the demons are corruptions from the Witch of Izalith attempting to recreate the first flame, of course. So why exactly the demons are here in the first place is unclear. What is most unusual is the reason why that we were able to get here is because of Velka, assuming. Now, how the knights were able to get here, I don't know. Now again, time and space are convoluted only in Lordran, not in the real world. And we're not in Lordran anymore. So you can't use the excuse of, well, the Black Knights were always here. Except you actually left afterwards, after you had beaten the Black Knights. So in essence, you were sort of rescuing yourself or some sort of weird convoluted shit like that. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. Not in the least. Instead, it's probably just one of those things where they just decided, you know what, for gameplay, let's just put this guy here because, hey, that seems cool. But in terms of actually trying to make sense of it, there probably isn't really anything to make any sense out of. It's just bullshit at the highest caliber. But if one were to guess as to why these demons are here, usually the reason why demons are anywhere that's not Izalith itself these days is because they wandered there. Which is a horrible implication, that this thing actually somehow managed to wander out of Izalith, out of Lordran itself, and these things may be out in the real world. The more horrifying realization is that this place that we're in, the Asylum, is way, way up in the mountains. So the very idea that this thing traversed all that terrain is absolutely laughable. So, I'm sort of inclined to believe that, again, it's just gameplay bullshit. It could also be that somehow the power of the Witch of Izalith has crept out of Lordran and is actually influencing the world outside, which I sort of doubt. And I don't think that the Witch of Izalith now, as the Bed of Chaos, as we'll learn later on, actually has any influence. Like, I don't think she's actually sapient or sentient anymore. I think it's just, now she's just a demon. She's corrupted and basically insane. So I don't think that she would have any reason to send these things out. Although I guess it is possible. Maybe it is that she is actually trying to prevent the chosen undead prophecy from coming true, but that's the only thing that I can really think of. Oh, for God's sake, will you hurry up and die? I'm sick and tired of talking about the Witch of Izalith. One more hit. Here we go. Okay, you fat bitch. Bye-bye, Scrody. Victory achieved. He offers us a humanity, which doesn't really make any sense. Whatever. He has a humanity for some reason. 20,000 souls. And a homeward bone. It's okay to acknowledge that and pick this up. And more importantly, he drops a single Titanite slab. These are few and far in between. I think there's only 3 guaranteed ones in the entire game. But that's it for everything down here. I will point out, there's a big pile of bones and shit down here. So either this, I guess, is someplace that they threw people to be executed. So it is possible that whenever the Undead Asylum was established, it was some time afterwards, after the Witch of Izalith incident, and they actually captured the demons and took them here and put them here as a means of controlling or executing or handling the undead problem, perhaps. Like they were actually just throwing them down here to kill them over and over again, to depower them or something. Who can say, really? But that's my best guess as to why they are here in the first place. What the hell is this? That's weird. It's a flat, looks like a piece of metal or something, tile. Oh, this is the tile from above. That's what that is. Okay, okay. Anyways, that's it for everything down here. And this is how you get up. Some people get lost down here after they beat the demon. Because this place was concealed in fog beforehand, which is the reason why you can't go up it. What fog is, actually, I have no idea. Where's our friend from earlier? There was a guy that had his... Maybe we'll see him as we pop out. I think he might have been here, actually. Which means that he's gone now. Better go ahead and get this back on. How big is this? Leather armor? What was I using before? The hollow warrior armor? I think that's what I was using. That's 6.6. This is 5.9. This is actually better. It has less poise. Poise is actually pretty important in this game. Okay, that's good enough. But if we go down this hall, we... Oh, here it is. Okay. There he is. There's our friend. Ha! How's it going, buddy? How's it going? And I will point out... Where's it? Here? No. Those flies are still here, though. I heard you! Old bastard. Those flies are still here. I will point out in finding this guy, since so much of the game is... Well, you handle so many enemies in the game by circle strafing them, or most players do anyways, then this guy can actually be... Camera wasn't really handling that too well. Then this guy can be a problem for a lot of people. And of course, it's really, that sort of trivializes a lot of the game. Roll? No, I'm not gonna roll. But backstepping... Not backstepping, what the hell was I saying? Backstabbing. I kept trying to say backstep because I was actually thinking about it. But backstabbing and parrying completely trivialize the game. They're kind of a big problem in some ways. Because they are feast or famine systems. The whole idea that you can, if you get behind someone, then you're rewarded by having this huge critical thing. My opinion is you're already behind them. You already have a free hit because they can't shield their own backs with their shield. So you're already being rewarded, because, you are, you know, you're being rewarded because you have the opportunity to hit them where they can't guard themselves. There's no reason to have a critical system for the back. To me, it's better in Dark Souls 2, actually, because the physical systems get a little bit better. But to me, the game is seemingly designed around face-to-face combat. Like, you're supposed to, wait for this and then you attack like that, but it's just, the game is so wonky that it's not really polished in that way, even since Demon Souls. You know, they never quite have gotten it right, which is why I think Bloodborne is now going with the whole idea of, you know what, everyone just backstabs and parry fishes and everything. Just design the whole fucking game around, which is why it's so much faster now. But to me, the most fun that I have in the game, especially in 2, is whenever I'm sort of controlling distance and using things like the backstep. Like, I'll try to use it here, the finishing. If I can bait him out. Yeah, see, that's the problem with it, is that it doesn't really have enough reach, so you don't really get to use it too often. I'll try it one last time. And yeah, it doesn't have any iframe, so it doesn't work either. That's the reason why it's so clunky and why people don't really use it that often. Anyways. Black Knight Sword. This is the thing that I wanted from the guy in the Undead Burg. Oh, well. Here's one of those rats, by the way. See how fucking big it's gotten? This is not a normal-sized rat. In the opening scene, we actually saw a rat that was normal-sized, and of course it uses the same exact model. This one is unique because it doesn't actually have... I don't think it actually has that same exact model. It's unique. This is so strange. There's a unique dead rat model exclusive to this one spot in the whole game, unless you can find more of them somewhere, I guess. Really odd. So apparently these things do get stronger, perhaps by eating humanity. Although maybe it does decay them, I don't know. Maybe it has a positive effect on pygmy-based creatures, and for everything else it actually causes corruption. Who can say? Can't open these things. Let's do camera controls. But we'll come back here and we'll notice that there is another hollow here, oddly, in our old cell. This is where we woke up at the beginning of the game. And he has something for us. He has the Peculiar Doll. This is a DLC item. Originally, this was not here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, because this is, if I can remember, where is this? It's probably just one of these. It's probably in the primary. If I can find it. No, it's probably going to be a key. Count as a key. Okay, yeah. A strange doll, strange dress. I love the icon for this. It's like, I check it in on the West Coast. I check it in the dirty South. Something of that nature. Peculiar doll, a strange doll in strange dress. There once was an abomination who had no place in this world. She clutched this doll tightly, and eventually was drawn into a cold and lonely painted world. So, of course, by the way, this playthrough is mainly for people that have already beaten the game, obviously. So most of this is going to not be news to you. But this is associated with Priscilla in the painted world that we will get to in Anne Orlando. And this is what you use to get into the painting there. There is a gigantic painting, and you'll be pulled in if you have this doll in your inventory. That's how you get in. If you've ever won. Which I don't know why you would have. So long, buddy. This is the last we'll ever see of you. Most assuredly. But that is that's how you get in. And the implication seems to be that little bitty baby Priscilla, little bitty girl Priscilla, had that doll, and she was torn away from presumably either her father or her mother, and was thrown into the painted world. Now, why, I ask you, is this doll in the Asylum? Have you ever thought about this? Now, the obvious answer is that the developers were thinking, where can we put this fucking thing that will surprise people? And I guess that seemed like the most fitting area, the place where you woke up for the first time. So you can write the whole thing off that way if you want to. And, you know, feel free if that's what you want to do, if you want to just trivialize the game that way. But that's not what we're here to do. Yeah! We're here to read into shit. That's what we're gonna do. Hey there, horrified gargoyle man. I really love these things. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that possibly this doll is here, maybe because of Velka. And I think, yeah, here we go. See if his buddy is gonna... Okay, no. Sometimes they do flip out, sometimes they don't. But this may be here because of Velka. And I will go ahead and tell you that Priscilla is very strongly hinted to be an aberration as a result of Seath's experiments. Because again, he's been hunting women, if you haven't noticed. He's been trying to hunt down women as part of his own experiments. This is what the Chandlers have been sent out to do. They are wandering around Lordran looking for girls to pick up, essentially. They're cruising for booty to bring back to Cease archives. That way he can caress their fine, shapely bodies with his blind ass, I'm guessing. But anyways, the ultimate culmination of his experiment seems to be Priscilla. But it seems almost certain that he is her father, but who the mother is, we don't quite know. Hold on. I don't think I have anything to offer Snuggly just yet. But of course, these are the crows. If you've seen them in 2, if you're just a player that only played 2. Huh, it's not coming up. That's unusual. Usually they should say something. Maybe it's just I have to leave something here and that's it. But usually a prompt comes up and you'll talk to them. Huh, I never had that happen before, I don't think. Unless I'm misremembering. Which I haven't played this game in so long that I've misremembered quite a lot of things. Anyway, so long, graveyard people. And again, don't jump off the cliff. Just squat down, go insane, and curl up like an egg. And you don't have to wait this time. Velka's crow will just, or raven will just show up and pick you up. But again, the painted world where Priscilla is has a lot of things associated with Velka in it. Things like Velka's servants, the very sexy crow ladies, or raven ladies, whatever. I'm gonna pick one. Ravens. We're gonna say it's ravens, because ravens sound sexier than crows, don't you think? Okay, raven women. Yeah, fucking raven women. I'm pushing that from now on. I've already done predators, I've done clown girls. Let's go with raven girls from this on. I'm gonna show you show you a whole new world of raven ass women. I'm gonna show you ass for days. You won't be able to sleep at night for all this ass. And sweet Jesus, you know the goddess of sin has got some ass. And she is gonna punish you in so many ways. Asylum Raven knows. She knows. Velka rescued the chosen undead because she's a pervert that loves watching human on bird girl action. And X is gonna give it to her. Anyways, in our return trip to the asylum, we suddenly have the peculiar doll in our cell for some reason, and Black Knights guarding the paths to our cell. Notice that? The doll is our way into the painted world, where Priscilla lives. Priscilla is very strongly hinted to be a child of Seath, somehow. People have suggested the mother may be, Guinevere, because she's a lot of lady. But another possibility is that her mother is Velka, who, as I mentioned, is a rogue deity. The other gods don't really approve of something that she's been doing, and it might involve Seath. It would explain why there's so many signs of Velka with Priscilla. She'd be ensuring the safety of her kid, obviously. In a world that was made, exclusively to store things that can threaten the gods. I wonder if I can... Probably not. Things like little dragon girls with life hunt powers, for example. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Velka, she's been rescuing the undead from the asylum, maybe in the hopes that she can fulfill the undead prophecy. Damn it. Maybe she discovers that you've done pretty well for yourself once you get out. So she sends a messenger, maybe someone from Kareem, or, a sacrifice or something. What do you think about that? What do you think about the haircut? That's pretty amazing, huh? So she sends someone to deliver the doll back to the place where you would be most liable to discover it. It's possible that some of the Black Knights actually have enough sanity left that they would want to prevent this from happening. There's a lot of possibilities. Maybe Velka doesn't even have anything to do with it. Maybe the Black Knights are just there to contain demons or something, now that they know that you are out and about and the place is probably fucked. Or maybe it's just a video game the developers didn't give a shit. Either way, I will see you guys next time. Go look up some ornisex. Oh yeah.